Gavin with WSI, and today we're going to go over our pressure balanced ram BOP operation. And what you see in front of us is an example of all the BOPs we have in our product line that operate off this pressure balance system. What we don't have up on the table are also our dual ram BOPs in the 7-inch 5 and 7-inch 10 configurations. Those will also operate under the same pressure balance ram system, as well as any of our Rotoflex style BOPs. We just don't have enough space to get every single one of them up here. But basically, starting from our 300T all the way up to our 2 9/16 10K rod BOP over there, these all operate with pressure balanced rams. This is our Model J. We have videos on this product specifically. You can go to the YouTube to find those, and also our website. This is a 500T BOP with a BS stuffing box and a flapper in the bottom. But their Model J also operates on a pressure balanced ram system. So there's some things you need to know about that. It's a little different than the traditional kind of Model 150 Hercules style rod BOPs that just use rubber ram blocks. And when we say pressure balanced, what that means is on the bottom sides of these rams there is a machined surface. And so what that machined surface does is, as the wellbore fluid increases and you've got your BOP ram shut in on your polish rod, it allows the wellbore fluid pressure to come up behind the rams and aid in pushing and sealing the BOP rams around the polish rod. And that way you only have to get between 20 and 50 foot-pounds on these ram bolts when you shut them in to get them to seal. You don't have to get those excessively tight. It's not necessary. And so that's what we say when we mean pressure balance. You're using the mechanical pressure of actually shutting the ram bolts in, along with hydrostatic pressure coming up from the wellbore to aid in your BOP ram sealing and closure. So it allows you these BOPs to function and close and seal at much higher pressures than just a 1500 rated BOP, which is a rubber ram block. So, and when you get to this level, everything is some type of a steel alloy ram block with some type of a molded ram or a snap lock ram. You don't have any of these in 100% kind of rubber configuration. They won't hold up to those pressures. So we're going to talk about the operation a little bit. You need to think of your ram bolt and your gland packing nut as a system. When you operate one, you should operate the other. So anytime that you're going to run your ram bolt in, you should take a quarter to a half turn to a full turn off your gland packing nut. And what you've got in here is you've got a piece of gland packing. You can kind of see a little leftover piece on this one that is in here. So when you do not release the pressure from your gland packing nut, when you run these ram bolts in and you open them and run them out, you're excessively wearing this piece of gland packing. And you can prematurely wear this and run it out, and then you've got to replace take it out and replace it. It's a replaceable item. It's not a big deal, but there's no need to do it earlier than you need to because you're not operating this to its optimum level. Also, these do not have to be really tight to seal. So it's another thing where you get it a little bit tighter than hand tight, get it hand tight, give it a little bit of a turn, and then as you're doing your pressure test and you let the fluid in the wellbore build up, when you see a little bit of leakage here, just give it a little turn as you continue to tighten it. But the one thing you want to think about is this is a system. So the tools you need to operate these ram bolts are a 3/4 inch socket, a 1/2 inch socket, and an 1 3/4 wrench. So you come on here, and if I'm going to run this ram in, I'm going to take a little pressure off the gland packing nut. And then I'm ready to grab my socket. And you can use a pipe wrench, a crescent wrench in the field if you have to, if it's the only thing you have. We suggest getting a 6-point socket. Saves the life of this. It makes it a little easier, a little safer to operate. And you run your ram bolts in. Just like any other BOP, you want to count your turns. It's about 18 to 20 turns to get these to shut. But as you're operating these, you want these BOP rams to meet in the center at the same time, so you're sealing around your polish rod, and you don't have one BOP that's closed in all the way here and this one barely can shut in. So you want your BOP rams to come in and meet approximately at the same space. So what we suggest is do 5 turns on one side, come over here, 5 turns. do that and then come back 5, 5, or if there's 2 of you out there, you can just take turns counting, doing it at the same time. Until you get up to, once you get to about 17, 18, 16 turns, at that point I'd stop and go 1, 1, 1, 1 until you get to where it's tight. And again, 20 to 50 foot-pounds is all you need to get these to seal. So, and it's pretty close to corresponding pressure. You may have to get probably a little bit more pressure on your gland packing nut, but you don't have to bury this and crank it all the way in and get it super tight. You can actually deform your gland packing by getting it too tight and create a small leak path. So just something to think about. Obviously, when you want to, you run them in, you shut them. At that point, you tighten your gland packing nuts. When you want to run them out, same thing. Loosen your gland packing nuts. Run your BOP rams out. It's not as integral on the release to do 5 and 5, 5 and 5. And, you know, when you want to run them out, it's okay to, if you just want to go on one side, get it all the way out. Same on the other. But when you run them in, count your turns. A couple things that can happen to understand as the wellbore pressure fluid. If you walk up on that well and it's pressured up for reasons that you're not expecting, you're not going to be able to retract these rams. As a lease operator, if you are going to change your stuffing box packing above this and you shut your BOP in, and then you go and you turn your unit back on, you drive to the next location and you realize, oh, I forgot to open up those BOP rams. You get back to the location and you come up here to try to open these BOP rams, there's going to be, if that unit's pumped and stroked back up, there is going to be a pocket of fluid that is behind the rams. And you will not be able to retract the rams until you decrease the pressure with that fluid. We put ports on the back of these, and there's ports on the side. If this is below your flow line, you're going to have to use these ports and have some type of a needle valve set up to get rid of that pressure. If you don't have that ability because the ports are still in and you haven't hooked up a needle valve, you can release a little bit of pressure by backing off your gland packing nut 1/4 to 1/8 of a turn. And then you can release a little pressure here and then hopefully get your rams open. But if you come up on location and these are shut in and they're sitting with the fluid and you try to retract them, and it's really, really tight, you're going to possibly, this is exactly what happened with this set here. This came off location. Lease operator tried to retract against a pocket of fluid, couldn't get it to work with his wrench in his socket, then went and got a 36-inch pipe wrench, couldn't get it to work with the 36-inch pipe wrench, then he went and got a cheater bar on the 36-inch, and it finally broke. But you could see he deformed the back of the ram, and he mushroomed the back of the ram bolt, and he pulled it out. And so now your BOP ram is sitting in there, and your ram bolt's not attached to it. So, and that just creates some issues that we've then got to figure out how to get all that out. So be mindful of that. These should never be real hard to retract. They should never be real hard to go in. You know, you will feel a little pressure when you put them in. Sometimes you can feel a little bit of pressure when you release them. But if you're going to try to retract your ram bolt, it's really hard, and you're having to, like I said, if you got them really tight, you're going to have to put a little bit of pressure to break it. That's kind of common sense. But if that pressure doesn't alleviate, and if it's that hard, when you're continuously retracting this ram bolt, you've got pressure in here somewhere. Again, like we always say, stop, be smart, look at your gauges, figure out what's going on with your well before you just keep working on it. So if your BOP is installed above your flow line, that's not an issue you ever have to worry about, because if it builds up pressure, you can just open up your flow line below it and let that pressure out through the flow line. It's really the only issue is if you've got these mounted directly on top of your like on a B1 flange or a B5 flange, and then you've got a pump and tee and then a stuffing box. So that is a benefit to the dual ram BOP on the 5K side. And what we recommend is best practice for lease operators when they're out there working on their stuffing box, to shut in the pour boy section of the BOP on the stuffing box and to shut in the top set of rams instead of the bottom set. You got plenty of protection with one set here and your pour boy, and that way if you do that, if a mistake like that inadvertently happens, all you have to do is you can release that pressure. That pressure will go out through your flow line and won't be sitting here trapped like it could be in one of these if you have these mounted below your flow line. And a lot of people like to do that. They want the secondary pressure for their flow line, and we understand that. And it's not an issue. It's just understanding as a lease operator how these work. And one tool that I did forget to mention earlier is a 3/8 Allen. So when you need to change your BOP rams, your BOP ram seals, your BOP rams, you'll need a 3/8 Allen, and you'll take these out, and then you'll pull your ram housing assembly out, swap out your BOP ram. When you go to put these back in, it's only 110 foot-pounds gets in the seal. You shouldn't exceed 150. Once again, these don't need to be excessively tight, and a cheater bar, you can pretty much feel as soon as they get tight and you're good. Don't need to, definitely not over 150. You can shear these bolts off. So one more thing I want to touch on and add about the pressure balance system and the nature of these BOPs is, and this is the non-salesman pitch, this is a safety pitch to you guys, is whether it's a WSI product or one of our competitors, there's another 3, 4, 5 options out there to be running these style of BOPs, these 3 and 5K and dual ram BOPs, and everybody has a pressure balance system. They may not be exactly the same. Several other folks machine the bottom of their rams like we do. Some folks have a hole in the center of them, but they all are trying to do the same thing. They're aiding wellbore pressure to use that to seal the rod BOP. And so if you've never worked on this stuff before, it is a little bit different than we said, your lower pressure rod BOPs. So even if you're not buying WSI products and you're running high pressure rod BOPs, or you're interested in running high pressure rod BOPs, give us a call and we'll come in and do a training with your pumpers on the safety, the safest way to operate and run these, whether it's our product or not. We just feel that strongly about the safety aspect of this, that this stuff is starting to deal in pressures at the wellhead that lease operators and pumpers haven't had to deal with a lot of times. So it's give us a holler, and we're more than happy to come in and help you on any of those trainings or any information we can. So thanks for watching the video. If you would like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, we've got a lot of videos coming out, training videos. At the end of this video, there will also be a link on our website where you can reach out to us for some of these trainings if you'd like to have them in person. We appreciate your time today. Work smart, stay safe, make your connection with WSI.